when you roll up, you want to buy the house. So she's like, y'all go to the liquor store, get whatever y'all we drinking, woo, woo, woo. So my cousin Daryl.
This was your grandmama said?
Yeah, my grandma got it in. That was my road dog right there, man.
That's what your grandma said. Set him up.
Let's do it. Yeah. Get the house.
Your grandma who be at church?
No, this one didn't go to church. This one was the pistol wheeling. When she died, we found a hatchet under her mattress, a 38 Taurus snub nose, a machete. I mean, she had it.
Grandma out here in these streets.
Yeah, she was out here, So my cousin, for some reason, I just didn't feel comfortable. He was like
at your cousin's house.
Right.
Okay.
Chicago now. We talking about Chicago.
He said,
so he said,
Chicago now.
Come on, cuz, go with me. I said, no, I'm good. Oh, come on, cuz. No,
go with him to the liquor store.
Yeah.
To set it out the house for your grandma.
Right. I ain't going.
Okay. You wouldn't go.
I didn't go.
I said, okay. I said you wouldn't go.
But that same cousin, his own gang killed him about 6 months later. I'm like, see? My mind don't fool me. The Lord knows. Because even my grandma was like, go with him. I'm no, Mama, I ain't going.
6 months later,
I'm in Chicago.
Own gang.
Over there off of North Avenue. I ain't going.
Killed him.
Yeah, they took him out.
I
don't know what he did, but I'm glad you didn't run into none of them cousins, Curry. Because it's one in every family.
Well, you gotta know how to. You gotta know. They oh, did you? Garvey said they had that look. They knew you wasn't from there. You just said from the slums. Y'all so ridiculous.
No, because back then I wore a lot of jewelry and stuff. I thought he was gonna get me robbed, and they was gonna split the money later or something. I didn't think he was gonna kill me, but that could have been a possibility too. They took him out.
You thought your cousin was gonna rob you,
man? Yeah, my cousin. He was gonna have me robbed.
He was gonna have you robbed.
Yeah, we leaving out now, dog. We're leaving out now.
Oh my God.
Man, I trust him.
That's rough. Do I have any family members that I look sideways at? Wait. Of course I do.
Yeah, there's always
one. Of course I do.
There's somebody on the phone already. That might be my cousin. On the other side.
Let's go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Hey, Michelle.
Hey, good morning, Ed. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing fine.
What's going on, man? What you got for me?
Did you get a chance to look at Donald Trump got shot at this guy over the weekend?
You know what? I'm going to talk about it. I did see it. Crazy story. But he didn't get shot. But yes, I know he got, they was trying to shoot at him. Yes, sir. So I'm going to talk about it. Okay. Thank you, babe. Appreciate it. Yeah, we will definitely get to the second assassination attempt on y'all boy. Somebody said I haven't heard from him in a while. I know. That's one of my people. I appreciate when I hear from him.
I know what I needed to tell you too while you were gone.
What's up?
I think they waited till you left town.
Don't tell me Meech. Yeah, he finally showed up.
He called in.
Did he? Yeah. Did he? Oh, isn't
But what he had to say, Michelle, it still was just like this. I keep that on speed dial now. That's on speed dial for me.
Yeah, eventually it's gonna come.
Yeah,
and we might can just hold off to November 6th though. Might be able to hold off to November 6th, and then he'll finally call in again. But I heard he was active on other networks, so that's good. As long as he's keeping his voice.
I asked him about that. He was like, well, I tried to call. The line was busy. I tried to call. Yeah, okay.
Whatever. He got my cell number.
We weren't that busy.
If he was trying to get in, Mitch got my cell phone number. He texts me crazy all the time.
He texts me all the time.
Yeah,
too,
so it's like, you ain't never texted. I'm trying to get in. Because he gonna get burped. He gonna be my color when I get done.
He did not want to face the smoke.
For everybody ain't never seen Meech. Meech is Vanessa Williams' color.
When
light skinned Vanessa.
Forgot what he was trying to say and couldn't get it out. He was
Meech gonna be my color when I get done roasting.
Damn. That's the roll.
All right, let me do a couple of things. First of all, to the good folks at New Testament Baptist Church, I told people, and I text Keisha, she said something about it on the air. When I left going to D.C. On my plane, I walked up into the gate area and literally said, "What the hell is this?" Because it was so many black people. I mean, it was like an ocean of black people, and I literally wasn't expecting it. I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna dip in on this flight. It shouldn't be nobody on this flight. Get in and get out." No, dang near half a New Testament had to be sitting up in the gate area. And I was like, okay. So a couple of members like, "Hey, Michelle." And I started talking to folks. I was like, "Hey."
Church trip or something?
Well, yeah, like, so I could never figure out if it was like a conference or a convention kind of thing. It seemed like they was there for a purpose, but also to then take in some extra days and kind of kick it and hang out. Sit next to an amazing couple on the plane, talked to her. I know her husband was like, "You do know that's my wife," because I talked to her for the whole trip. We talked.
He didn't get no interaction. Huh?
Yeah, he got a sandwich out the deal, but from wheels up to wheels down, I talked to her on the whole flight. But it was so cool, and it was like a number of people that had to have like wheelchair assist because it was it looked like a retired kind of crew for the most part of people. But I so valued, even with ever limitations or just moving a little slower, whatever, people were still out there kicking it. People were still out there living their life and doing their thing. And so I just wanted to say, excuse me. Yes, y'all, I'm still battling this cold. It's crazy. But I just wanted to say that, if your church is not doing that or other groups are not doing that, it just looks so cool. Everybody ready to have a good time. And they look like they was getting ready to hopefully have an amazing trip. They weren't going to be where I was, but just kudos to the church.
They weren't going to the White House.
Well, no. I mean, like in terms of directly in DC. They weren't staying in DC. They were staying outside of DC. Like I think they might have been staying in Virginia. So, but it just was cool. And I just love seeing, retired people moving around, doing their thing, still kicking it. That's how you stay young. That's how you stay in the game. We got a caller on the line. Let's get them in real quick. Hey, caller, what's happening? Hello?
Hi, Michelle.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. Let me turn this down. Michelle, I have 2 bones to pick. Is that okay?
Go ahead.
I know it's Monday. But why are you repping an NFL Green Bay Packer hoodie? Why?
Why not?
No.
Why not?
Okay, and then speaking of which, my second bone is last week, Debo said our Keith reminded him of Tim Scott. And I just need you to eat him alive today.
He said, who remind him of Tim Scott?
Keith Paris.
Oh my God.
On the air.
You may need to know the inner workings of how we operate around here.
Okay.
On the air for public. I'm like, why would you say that?
No.
Talking about Keith older than him, he's younger than him. I mean, he just ripped him to shreds and Keith was not there.
You are misinterpreting the matter at hand. Michelle, there was a misinterpretation of the matter at hand.
Really?
Yes. I said I could see him being in the mindset of a Tim Scott.
Really?
Yeah.
In the mindset?
In the mindset.
In what way?
Clergy.
What they got to do with Tim Scott?
Yeah, because, the non-belief in abortion and things of that nature. So some of the philosophies of the Republican Party kind of are in line with Christianity in some ways. Not totally. I don't totally agree with all of it. But yeah, it was kind of how we shoot at one another. It wasn't maliciously intended.
Oh, you wasn't really like
no.
Okay.
It was Yo-Show Friday,
so
that kind of a thing.
We was at each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Nobody has came to my defense. I don't know if they know about my suit singing at the funeral. Carter just hit me with one this morning. What was that one he just hit me with this morning?
I missed it. I didn't.
No, you heard it. I didn't. It might have been party to it.
I didn't hear it. Well, let me just say, to your two bones that you got to pick on Green Bay. Literally, this. I'm not somebody riding with Green Bay. I'm not riding with NFL football at all at this time, and I've said that numerous times, but I just wanted to throw on a windbreaker. because it was like 57 when I left the house this morning. And this one is real light and easy to put on. And I actually like it. I like that it opens on both sides, so I like the style of it, but yeah, it don't have nothing to do with repping Green Bay. I'm not watching. I still have not watched an NFL game, have no intention of watching one. So but I understand the mixed messages. I do. I appreciate it. And I take your point. On Keith Pierce, I'm just say this.
Let that man fight his own fight.
So I said Ike Debo Turner
See,
backing down the cleanup man.
I ain't cleaning up nothing.
I'm just saying Keith Pierce. Ain't nobody defending Keith Pierce. Right. Keith Pierce is vicious and will talk about you.
Like you got to know the
and
inner
will
workings
come
around
in here. You don't know from one day to the next what you gonna get with Keith Pierce. One day he might speak. Other days he just be stank and acting bougie like he just came back from the Hamptons. You just never know.
I'm gonna put this in the atmosphere.
And it can change from hour to hour, quite frankly.
I'm gonna put this in the atmosphere, and if you guys repeat it, we'll all deny it. But we love one another. We care about each other and what happens. And we just be talking crazy to each other. But yeah,
don't put that out there.
Yeah, but yeah, if you repeat that, we'll deny it.
We love everybody but Keith.
Well, and then there's Keith.
No, that's not why he called me to that. That's probably why he act like that. No, he's out because he act like that. Keith, who got a show called Hater Nation?
Now, Rhonda, on the other hand,
we love Rhonda. And don't know how Rhonda got with Keith. But
well, I'm not saying
I'm saying it. I say it every day. Don't know how she got with him.
He's sitting out on his what right now? Eating what?
On his lanai.
Eating
his scones.
Don't
nobody like Keith. But anyway, he is such a buster. I know she didn't think I was about to back up Keith. I feel bad. I actually feel bad. No way I was about to back up Keith. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Good morning.
Good morning.
And thank you for taking my call.
Yes, ma'am.
Once again, this has been some kind of weekend. I don't know how Donald Trump do it, but it's just amazing how all of a sudden someone wants to assassinate him. For what reason? And I hope they start investigating these things very closely. And just like the first attempt, instead of them having it investigated, they're going to call him up and call a Senate hearing and firing people. We are in such a turbulent time until it's not even funny. I don't know which way it's going to go. But I do know this. Why do we keep going back 4 years ago saying, were we better off 4 years ago than we are today? Look at history. Look at the things that have happened. Look at the storm. Look at the bird flu that they had to do so many things, kill so many chickens because of this disease. So the eggs went up. And in the climate where it's cold and the produce don't grow right, well, the prices are going to go up. Where is the logic in all of this? And these commercials, and Kamala Harris killed my son. And what is going on? And then you want to know why violence is happening? You started it. You started the ugliness, and the ugliness is at your feet now. And we need to just wake up and remember one thing. You worried about the interest on your home? How about you don't even have a home because you have no democracy? We better weigh the things that are really critically important. And that I'm not letting anything beat me up. It's too many personal things with just living every day and losing loved ones and the things that are important to us. And we want to know why we have so much mental illness, parents, older adults. Our children are watching us. Let a man make a fool of us and change who we are and our ideology. I love the Lord. I don't believe in abortions either. And I don't believe it should be used for birth control methods. But that's your right to choose that. Because at the end of the day, you're going to have to give an account of it. And I hope we just be smart and keep it moving. But I'm not defending Keith or anyone else. But we all get in different moods. I'm a person that have I could be thinking of something, don't mean to be rude, and I might pass by you or may not speak, not because I'm ignoring you. It's because I'm perplexed with something else that's going on. And if you're catching me on the wrong day, you might get something that you don't want. Have a great day.
All right, thank you. Look, y'all, don't feel like y'all gotta call in to you know, take up for Keith. Please don't feel like it. Tell nobody, you know, like dislike him for real.
No,
But on the record, I'm gonna always be on the record. Like I ain't thinking about Keith on the record, but you know, behind the scenes, as in anything, um, you know, that's my man, 100 strong. But let me just say this. Let me say this. Um, a number of people reached out, obviously, about the assassination, which we will talk about. Got to talk about, you know, for some time this morning that we lost Tito Jackson, 70 years old. I literally found out when I sat in my chair this morning. I hadn't seen that, and it was the first thing that popped up because I haven't looked at my phone all day yesterday. So it's a lot going on in the world around us. You know, you figure out how to laugh when you can, how to make sense out of what you can, understand the work that has to be done, and there is tons of work to be done. So we'll start tackling some of it when we get back on the other side of the break. But y'all, calm down. Don't nobody hate Keith. We'll be right back. as long as your message is not, racist, crazy, blah, blah, blah. And so equal time has to be given to everybody. So I'm just telling y'all right now, from now until November, y'all might as well brace yourself, because everyone has the ability to run commercials at this station. And it's actually required by federal law that people be given an equal opportunity to air their messages. Somebody just said it is now political season. We should, let me see what she said. Dion, like doing my job. Dion said, hey, it is now political season. We should all know this by now. So just so folks know, don't call. Don't call. Y'all running. Don't start.
The views and opinions expressed. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. All right. So let me do this. Let me just say real quickly, went to DC, talked about the fact that I was going out for Congressional Black Caucus, annual legislative legislative conference held by members of the Congressional Black Caucus. Shirley Chisholm was one of the founding members of Congressional Black Caucus, and it was always meant to, be able to help people understand, talk about, get information on policies and legislation impacting Black people around this country. And so, legislators from every state that is involved in Congressional Black Caucus, they work to put on this annual conference. They bring in guest speakers. There are third parties that also present at the conference. And I tell people all the time, it is one of the things that I do to keep me personally motivated, grounded, and committed to the work. You go around other, frequently, not always, but frequently like-minded people who their focus is the empowerment, improvement, betterment of our community. And so the sessions, and there are, oh my God, there must have been 200, 300 sessions this time, 200 easy, that you could just go to on any array of issues, to be able to, see everybody. We walking through the hallway. Somebody's like, is that Ronnie from Belle Biv DeVoe? Yes, it is. We, were fortunate to go to the White House for a brunch, and David Banner standing right next to my table. Aldis Hodge, one of my favorite actors. Lil Rel sitting at my table. April Ryan at the table behind me. I mean, like, it just was crazy. All of the different people that we were able to see and talk to, go, everybody chill, everybody cool. And that was the vibe for the whole thing. So a number of people from Milwaukee were out there. But I saw at the brunch, Pastor Greg Lewis, obviously County Executive Crawley and his wife, Wesley Ashley, was it Wesley? What's his name? A number of people that we saw. And so I just wanted to just say that that's where I was. So I thank you all for the grace and the team for holding things down while I was away. But when I tell you, it literally is where I go to recharge. It's where I go to recharge, and I'm not there to kick it. I'm not there to socialize. I'm there to learn. I'm not there to party, even though it's tremendous parties that go on. Like, I even left the White House brunch as soon as the program portion was over. I left right away because I wanted to get back to the arena, to the convention center, because there were sessions that I wanted to attend. So again, thank you to the team here at the station for giving me the room to move around and go and attend that convention. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Well, welcome back, Miss Michelle Bryant.
Thank you, JT. How you doing today?
I'm doing quite well, and I hope you are too. And I'm glad you made it back safely.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. And good morning to Mr. Devo and to Carvey.
Good. They say good morning. They not Debo's sitting here with Carvey's out of the room. So they say good morning.
Okay. Michelle, I don't know if you had, there's so much going on. I don't know if you had a chance to hear about this Palestinian business owner here in Milwaukee that decided to put up a mural that showed the Star of David with a swastika inside of the Star of David. Now, he said the reason why he did it because of Israel causing, all the devastation to the Palestinians, the genocide. And everybody's kind of, obviously right away they say, well, it's anti-Semitic. And then we had Mayor Cavalier Johnson coming out saying the same thing about it. It's divisive. It's anti-Semitic. I believe it's Alderman Westmoreland coming out saying the same thing. I just want to say to Mayor Cavalier Johnson and to Alderman Westmoreland, back in the 1970s, they said the same thing about being divided, being disrespectful. When black people had a mural of the Black Power fist back in the 1970s, they said the same thing about our Black Power fist. And when this Palestinian gentleman decided he wanted to put this mural up with the Star of David with the swastika inside in the middle of it, well, it's the same thing a lot of us in the community have been saying anyway, that those Israelis is acting just like those Nazis that have caused them to be placed in Africa in the first place in 1948. Now, America gave them weapons and everything like that to outdo the Palestinians. And what do? They commit a genocide. So when this gentleman decided he wanted to put that Star of David up with the swastika in the middle, well, he just telling the truth. And like I said again, they said the same thing about the Black Power fist in the 1970s, how divisive that was. Now, all that recommend or whatever, I wanted to say the BS word, but I'm gonna be nice this morning. But yes, Michelle, I thought when Mayor Cavalier Johnson and Alderman Westmoreland jumped into the middle of that, along with the Jews, talking about, well, that's divisive, anti-Semitic, and all of that. Come on, brothers, you know how that goes. When you do something wrong, some people like to show it and express it, just like we did in the 60s and the 70s. Remember that? Remember when we was out there marching? When he's dogging us out? Remember the Black Power fist, the Black Power sign? Do you remember that? Come on, people. Wake up. Anyway, Michelle, I just wanted to get that off my chest.
No, not a problem, man. I'm actually going to speak to it. I saw it, while I was out of town, so I'm certainly going to speak to it. Thank you, JT. I appreciate the call this morning.
Thank you, dear. Have a good day.
No, not a problem. Not a problem. All right, so let's see. Where do I want to go? Where do I want to go first? Let me start out first. The phone starts ringing. Are you looking at this? There was a second assassination attempt on the life of former President Donald Trump. And immediately, a number of people were like, they didn't believe it. That they actually thought that it was a setup, that something that Trump supporters, Trump himself possibly had orchestrated to gain sympathy from the electorate because he had not done well in the debate. He had not been, faring well, not necessarily losing a ton of ground to Kamala Harris, but certainly not picking up any momentum in relationship to the campaign. And that this was a way to grab attention. The number of folks who did not believe that it was a real assassination attempt that reached out to me, or that felt like, or said so, or said, damn, they missed again. Like, I really, and I understood it. I really was kind of taken aback because like it was coming from some places I didn't expect. But I understand how people, get to conspiracy theories because he has been such a, dishonest individual that is big on, public stunts to be able to elicit attention, support, stoke fear. So he's prone to doing very ignorant public things to be able to call attention to himself. So I certainly understood why people, thought the way that they did. The thing that will be interesting is the individual that they have in custody, Ryan Ralph. Once they get all this information from him, about why he came after Trump, what was going on. This man who was 58 years old, a self-employed, they said, affordable housing builder in Hawaii. So this should be somebody with a little bit of means. And they talked about that he had, and I can't tell how frequent, but that he certainly had commented on social media before, weighed in on politics, talked about not liking, a lot of Trump's policies. And this is who they're saying right now, is the individual. They've said that the weapon that he chose, an AK-47, which is not a popular gun in the United States, was something that was of interest to people. Like, why this gun choice? But then they talk about the fact that on his social media page, he said that he had gone over to fight with the Ukrainians. The AK-57 would not be an unusual gun choice if you know somebody dealing with wars over in Ukraine. So there was a lot to unpack. They're still obviously, trying to get information. They felt relatively secure in saying that they thought he was not a part of any group, that it was a one-man operation. But the thing that they also have been talking about now is the way this guy was able to set up his space off the 5th, 6th holes of Donald Trump's golf course, which is about 15 minutes away from Mar-a-Lago, 10, 15 minutes away from the actual, place where he actually resides, the country club itself. And that he was able to put in place like protective plates that could deflect bullets. If once he shot, people started shooting back in his direction, he had been able to hang these in the area where he has set up, his perch, if you will, to be able to lay in wait to shoot at the former president. And they talked about that the backside of this golf course, which is heavily wooded, there was no protective detail back there. And many people, howling and screaming on the right, on the conservative side of the aisle, Republican side. Why not? Why not? When you leave the presidency, you are not afforded the same level of protection that you receive when you are a sitting president. Now, let's be clear. Donald Trump, who is forever bragging about his money, has enough money to help hire whatever force he would like to see in addition to what's provided by taxpayers. That's number one. And there's no way that if somebody has seriously tried to assassinate me, that in addition to whatever the U.S. provides by way of Secret Service, I am going to beef up my own security. So that's the one thing I had to say to some people is that the kind of resources that this man has, he's not done a ton to make his own housing situation safe, to make his own golf course safe. There was no security on that back perimeter, not even provided by him. So you got your wife, your family, different people moving around, but it's people that don't like you, and you 100%, relying on the Secret Service in terms of that huge perimeter. I'm not talking about what happens on the grounds, like right around Mar-a-Lago. I know it's some private security members that he has, but it's like, come on, bro, help yourself, especially when you know that you talk out the side of your neck and that people will come for you. So that's number one, is that as people lost their mind, understand how this works. Now, they can beef up additional protection for him, but that does come at a cost. And it's something that he normally wouldn't be entitled to. But because of these attempts, Biden, Harris will be so gracious as to extend additional resources to him. But he's not entitled to them. I just want to be clear about that. there is a limit to what he is supposed to be afforded. That's number one. And folks didn't like it when I said it yesterday, but it is what it is. So this guy is able to get 300 to 500 yards away from Trump. They said a Secret Service agent actually saw the barrel of this AK-47 and fired in the direction of that person, or there was an exchange of gunfire near this area, which is a public road that abuts this golf course on three sides. There's a school, there's daycare, there are businesses, and so people rightfully concerned about the exchange of gunfire, what's going on, because there are other things. Now, mind you, this is weekend, so nobody's in school. But just so people know that they don't close those public roads down when Donald Trump goes on a golf course. That doesn't happen. So either way, the attack occurs, and just as a lot of people feared, there's now the rallying of supporters for Donald Trump. They're trying to hurt him, and this ends up potentially being a win for Donald Trump, which is what made people say in the beginning they thought it was something staged and planned. Like, what did you offer this man to do this? I don't know any of that to be true. I understand it. I hear the frustration that people have. I know what he's capable of because he's demonstrated that time and time again, but I don't know any of that to be true. Okay. And I don't think that any of us do at this point. So I would encourage people to discuss it with a degree of reverence, because this is, this is disturbing, that for everything we've been told about the Secret Service and about our capabilities. Somebody said, and the man didn't get shot. Yeah, something is up with that. Again, to people saying, Michelle, this is not real. Haven't seen a photo yet of the guy. Have you all? I haven't seen one. Let me see. Let me type in his name. But I haven't seen it yet. And it may be out there. But take it back. Yep, I got it now. I've seen it. So in any case, people are going to rally to his aid, and he'll have another story to tell. But we just got to keep moving forward. But I think that it certainly calls into question what's available to people when they leave office by way of security. Because think about this. This could easily be Obama. This could easily be Clinton. Now, I think Obama and Clinton exercise a degree of caution that doesn't put them in harm's way to some extent in terms of these areas that, and let's be clear, people could get to these people if they want to. If you really are determined, people can figure out how to get to these people. But I'm just saying, before we, oh my God, this is that. And Donald Trump does bring a lot of this foolishness on himself because he's so ignorant and he talks so recklessly. I get it. But again, this could be any other president that's going through the same thing. So it shows us our weaknesses as a nation in how we protect former leaders of this country, and where we're vulnerable and what we need to do to shore up those systems. But they have said that this has been a problem for years. The golf course is massive. Donald Trump insists on going out there and doing his thing. But for me, at some point, taxpayers need to be saying to Donald Trump, if you're going to continue to put yourself in this situation, you're going to need to pony up some money to help pay for your own security. Let me go to the phone line because Obama is not out stoking, the flames of ignorance. And Clinton and, God bless Jimmy Carter. These people are not stoking the flames of divisiveness and violence and drama. Donald Trump bring a whole bunch of this on himself. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Hey, Michelle.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. I kind of want to be like JT this morning. Get it off my chest.
Go ahead.
It's like the other, I guess we all got to get this off our chest this morning.
Absolutely. I know. I understand.
For the last several weeks, I've been calling in talking about how I think the media, even NBC and CNN, which is supposed to be left, where they are left leaning, how they still even what's the new chick's name that's on morning on NBC, Meet the Press. What's her name? Not Rachel.
Hang on, because I don't really care for her style, so I don't watch it.
Yeah. That's
she rubs me the wrong way.
That's what I was finna say. I thought the first couple of weeks she came on, I thought, okay, you being a little hard. So I don't know if it's the management companies that will take it easy on these guys, so we can get them back on the shows. But Fox don't worry about that because what's the transportation guy's name? You got to help me out, Michelle. Pete Buttigieg.
Yep.
I think he was on Fox yesterday. I think it was Pete Buttigieg. I was trying to get ready for church, so I was back and forth. But Fox don't let you overtalk them. They'll cut you off and they'll put their agenda forward. But I guess why I'm calling, and I think Debo kind of agreed with me on Friday. I think I got a little pushback from DJ and Keith. But this Lord Loomer chick that Trump is running around with, that shows really who he is, the racist that he is. And what really got me upset this weekend is that, yeah, they did talk about the Haitians and all that stuff, and what she said about 9/11. But isn't she the same chick that talked about the Senator Sheila Jackson Lee when she passed away?
Yeah, I mean, she's a stone cold racist. She says some of the most ignorant, belligerent stuff you have ever heard out loud. But that's
Michelle,
her.
None of them, Michelle, whether it was ABC, CNN, NBC, none of them brought up that she called the stuff that she said about the senator.
Right.
None of them brought that up.
Yeah, no.
And then that just really got at me because they all still giving this man a pen. Well, I don't really know. She's a supporter. All that dumb stuff he be saying.
Right.
But President Obama had to distance himself from Reverend Wright. But this dude don't have to distance himself from her. And all of them taking up for him, even though that she's on the plane with him. Even after the stuff she said about 9/11, she's there on 9/11 right behind this dude. And she's on the airplane with this dude. Why can't these people wake up, Michelle? It's just ridiculous to me. And and I have the CD, what Reverend Wright said. I got it if you wanted to listen to it. I don't know if you ever heard it, but he wasn't lying about anything he said.
Right.
But when he said GD America, they lost their mind, Michelle.
Yeah, no, I get all of the double standards and everything. I hear you 100%. I'm actually going to speak to some of that, but no, I hear you 100%, bro.
So that's my getting it off my chest this morning.
It's appreciated. Thank you, fam.
Bye.
All right, bye-bye. I got another caller on the line. Let's get them in. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Hey, Michelle, it's Andre.
Hey, Andre, what's happening, bro?
Hey, I'm just kind of excited this morning, kind of sad to hear about what happened to former President Trump, but let's not be weary in well-doing or deceived. We have to keep moving forward. And I want to say that we cannot get thrown off by antics or anything like that. And we got to, like you're saying, we got to keep pushing the word. But I really want to speak to the young people. I want to speak to young black men that are going to be turning 18 before November 5th, college students, and all of those that think that their vote doesn't matter. This is one of the races that it does. And I think that we need to do a real strong push to get our young people to the polls to vote for the mother. the mother of the company because of the country. We need a mother. We don't need a gang leader or a pimp. We need a mother to do what needs to happen in America for us and for our people. But I'm going to get involved, and I usually don't get involved, but I'm getting involved. I made some calls today, and my push is for young people who have never voted before. If you're 18 or going to be 18 and you're able to vote, let's go to get them to the polls, however we can do it. But let's not get thrown off too much by these antics that are going on. But let's keep focusing because they know we can gain momentum by speaking to each other. If they start talking to each other and saying, I'm going to the polls to vote, they'll take their friends. And so that's what I want to push.
Thank you so much, bro. I appreciate the call. And it's absolutely what is going to be necessary to move the needle this time. And people can understand this because I know a lot of folks have 501c3 organizations. You got to protect, yourself as executive director of these groups or different, faith organizations, churches. You can talk about the candidates and not tell people who to vote for, but you can tell people this is where Trump and Kamala Harris land on, immigration. This is what they say about da. But most importantly, you can read this information for yourself. I can help you find it if you don't know where to look, but I need you to go weigh in. I need you to step up and say something. And that's the thing that we keep running into is all these scary people saying that, we can't talk about that at church. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. And if you got a faith leader in your church who doesn't understand that, y'all need somebody to help educate him or her. Yes, you can talk about these issues because they affect the congregation every single day. So how you not going to let information get to your parishioners, when they're impacted? And speaking of that, I got a flyer over at IPAMA. And let me pull up the actual name because I always forget. There it is. At the Institute for the Preservation of African American Music and Arts. Y'all know this was connected to Bishop Daniels and what he started by way of having a place to feature, showcase our art and preserve our music and history. There is going to be a rally and information session happening on oh, you know what? Damn, it just happened. My bad. Forget it. It happened this past Sunday. It just came to me today. Don't know why, but hopefully people went. Jesse Jackson was there, Reverend Jackson, and Judge Mathis was there from what I understand. This is the crazy part. The fact that we got to still keep pulling out Jesse Jackson. Because this brother needs to be able to go somewhere and sit down. This is where we all are going to have to start stepping up to be leaders and filling the void and stepping into the shoes of some of these iconic civil rights leaders who are now aging before us. When Jesse Jackson had to be rolled out at the DNC in a wheelchair, you get an appreciation. And he had retired from Rainbow Push. But because of whatever internal stuff went on, the guy that gets appointed, he ends up resigning. Jesse Jackson is back now as the president of Rainbow Push. Jesse need to be able to go somewhere and sit down. Not because he has no value, but because his health does not allow him and should not. He shouldn't be all over the place given his healthcare challenges that you see. I mean, it's physically, we see him. We see what's happening with Jesse. And I think Jesse has Parkinson's. If I'm not mistaken, I think he has Parkinson's. So let me get this caller and then I'm gonna go ahead and talk about this Trump thing real quick from another angle. But hey, caller, what's happening?
Hey, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, Michelle, just wanted to point out something that we've seemed to forget as a collective Black people.
Okay.
For example, 2016 and even probably now, remember the white churches, their pastors or bishops or whoever's in charge was openly endorsing Trump.
Right.
But Black churches couldn't.
Right.
Okay. The media is intentionally giving Trump passes on all the crazy stuff he's doing and saying, okay? And my point is this. Remember the old saying, we have to do twice as much to get half of what they got?
Mm-hmm.
this is what they're doing to Kamala Harris. They're making her work twice as hard to get to get the presidency. So what I'm saying is this: black people, let's show them that we with Kamala, and we're gonna get out there and vote for her, and we're gonna show them that they can pull all the tricks they want through the media and otherwise. But hey, we got her back.
Thank you so much, bro. I appreciate it. And the caller made me think of something that was said in one of the sessions, which was that they talk frequently about black women being the backbone of the Democratic Party, and that we have pushed as a unit as black women to make certain things happen politically. In this session that was held at CBC, one of the things that was said is that I was in was that the percentage points of black men behind black women, it's just a few percentage points lower, but that their work and their numbers have helped to galvanize and push forward certain agendas and, legislators. And we don't say that because, people always talk about whoever came in first. So because black women's numbers just to say 78%, black men's number 75%. When people talk about who's the strongest ally in the Democratic Party, they say black women. But when you look at the percentage gap, brothers are right there. And so being reminded to say, as this brother just said a moment ago, we got to get out and do this work. We all got to show up. And we got to remind ourselves, particularly as black women, brothers are right there beside us. But if you engage, you know that. You see them. So I just wanted to make sure I make that point because I thought it was an excellent thing that everybody needed to be reminded of, even black men. Y'all show up with us right there alongside of us, no matter what the media highlights or does not highlight. Again, efforts to divide people. I got to take a break. I'll be right back.
After 30 years in business, this great business
to the show. So a couple of things, and let me figure out how to work it all in, because we are expecting a phone call this morning as well. But on Donald Trump, right now, I think that as much as can be said has likely been said until we get more information about the gunman, about the attempted attempt. Um, the one thing I would just caution people is that, you definitely want to make sure, and I'm going to segue that into the caller who brought up what's going on with the mural on the private property. You definitely don't want to become what you despise. You don't want to become what you hate. And I say it all the time. Somebody, when the mural drama was unfolding, somebody said that to me yesterday. They said, "Remember, Michelle, you say that all the time," which is a part of the wording in this mural. Basically, just paraphrasing, don't become what you don't like. So as we pay attention to the conversations on the assassination attempt, let's just be mindful of that as we talk about it, and what we think needs to happen. Let's just, the ability to stay mindful, because again, that conversation could be about anybody, including a Barack Obama, that needs additional protection, and somebody crazy, because there may be somebody who's like, "Oh, y'all trying to take out our boy? We're gonna start trying to take out y'all people." Like, this can go off the rails so quickly. So we got to stay conscious and diligent and be responsible, even in the way we talk about it. But with that being said, the mural that was done, we talked about it. A caller had called and said, "Hey, Michelle, didn't know if you had noticed that the Breonna Taylor mural has come down." And, I was like, "Wait, what?" And somebody actually had to remind me. I talk about so much stuff over the course of these weeks and months that, like, Michelle, no, you mentioned it. But I went back and I looked, and, like, yes, the store or the building property privately owned, and the gentleman who owns it, I actually went to college with Isan Ada. He is the brother of a woman who has done a lot of, and family who has done a lot of amazing work in this community, Janan Najib. She's been on my show before. She talked about the uncommitted people that were saying they weren't going to support Biden because of what was going on, until we got some resolution about what was going on for the Palestinian people in relationship to the Israeli and Hamas war. And so these are people that I know. When we did the festivals, they did the Arab festival. These people, paying for it out of their pocket to make sure that the community had an opportunity to come down and learn about this particular, group of people. And so I said before I left last week that I know Isan, and I know him to be a good man, a good brother, who is about fairness, who speaks out on social issues. I went to UWM with him and have never known him to be anything but decent. Never known his sister and her husband to be anything but decent people that would speak up when it was uncomfortable to speak up, and call attention to issues of inhumanity towards any group. I'm gonna just say it like that. This goes back to college for me with Hassan. When we were talking about Nelson Mandela, like, this goes back that far with me with this man. And so he says back in June when they interviewed him that, "Yep, I made the wall available on the side of this property I own for a mural to go up. The artist chose to do Breonna Taylor. I liked it. I was cool with it. It's been up for a number of years. But given my own background and everything that I see happening with the Palestinian people, I wanted to do something different. I wanted to take that down and to be able to talk about these 40,000 lives lost in this war that's happening right now between Israel and Hamas." So when I left, I don't know anything yet about what the mural is. I'm not sure when they unveiled it or what went on. But the mural, which many of you have now seen on the news, image of a swastika intertwined with the Star of David. The swastika evokes, painful. Hang on, because I want to just pull up something. Evokes painful either memories or images for people. connected to, some of the worst atrocities committed against humanity in terms of the Nazis and, the genocide of a whole people, the efforts to like wipe the Jewish community off the face of the earth. It is a harmful and a harsh and an ugly symbol. It's like for Black people just seeing that noose hanging in the tree. Like it doesn't even have to be a body on it. But Black people understood when you saw that noose just swinging in the air, even though all kinds of people have been lynched in American history. But primarily, we associated with black people and unwarranted death and racism and segregation and prejudice and like everything that comes with the history of Black folks and white people that were hell bent on enforcing white supremacy or trying to make that the law of the land. All it takes a sin is that noose. If we see a burning cross, we connect it to the KKK. So we know that imagery is powerful. You can't get around it. No need to play with it. No need to sidestep it. Imagery is powerful. There are things that I can just have a photo of and no words, no context. But if I see it and I'm of a certain age and I have a certain educational background, and I'm not talking about academic, I'm just talking about life, you understand what some of these symbols mean when you see them. The young students that were up in Baraboo or wherever that was doing the hand extended, looking like Heil Hitler, the Reich, the arm extended. You understood what that meant when you saw it, if you were of a certain level of exposure to history and understanding. So one thing though that I don't know if people always know, the swastika is actually an ancient religious and cultural symbol. It was predominantly found in Eurasian, is what they call them, refer to them, African and American cultures. Like the Nazis did not own the swastika. They took it and made it become something horrible. If I go to the ADL's website, the Anti-Defamation League's website, the swastika is an ancient symbol that emerged independently among many cultures on several continents. Before the 20th century, its use, including in the United States, was almost always benign, which meant that there is no hate attached to it, nothing harmful attached to it. That's what benign means. You got a benign tumor, you okay. You got a benign lump, no problem right now. Even today, the swastika is a common symbol across Asia, used by Hindus, Buddhists, and adherents of other religions, where it is often associated with good fortune. Okay? This is on the Anti-Defamation League's own website. However, in the early 20th century, various right-wing adherents of the so-called Valishk, and I'm not saying that correctly, I'm sure, movement in Germany, a movement in a large part dedicated to uncovering a romanticized and largely mythical German Aryan past, adopted the swastika as a symbol. The use of the swastika in this context subsequently influenced Adolf Hitler to adopt the swastika as the primary symbol for the Nazi Party in 1920. The murderous legacy of the Nazi regime, especially the Holocaust, permanently converted the swastika into a symbol of hate, anti-Semitism, and infamy. Since 1945, the swastika has served as the most significant and notorious of hate symbols, anti-Semitism, and white supremacy for most of the world outside of Asia. Its display is prohibited in Germany and some other countries, leading some right-wing extremists to devise variants or alternatives to the swastika that would evoke a similar effect. In the United States, the swastika is overwhelmingly viewed as a hate symbol. So I'm not going to continue to read all of it, but I just want you to understand that, number one, just like to some extent, and much less, so don't lose your mind, anybody that's Jewish or, a supporter, when I say the way, there are groups that have turned DEI into the devil and anything connected to it is bad. That's not how DEI starts. But you see companies and people changing because this group of people have decided to make this, a bad thing. The swastika in and of itself never started as a hateful symbol. White supremacists turned it into a hateful symbol. And so, to the point on the ADL's website, people have come to now know it in that way. But what did they say? Except outside of Asia. In Asia, they still use the swastika and still see that symbol in the way it was originally intended, not in the hateful manner in which white supremacists adopted it to become. So I think that the backstory on the symbol itself is important, because there are some people who have no idea that this was not always a hateful symbol. All right. But even with that being said, ain't nobody stupid, Michelle. That's how it's being used today in America. That's fair and that's fine. So, mural goes up, and it is the swastika intertwined with the Star of David. The property owner is San Ada, and this is over off the corner of Houghton and Locust. And I'm looking at a story from the Journal Sentinel just to give credit, for the people who did the legwork on this. Hassan is Palestinian, strong critic of the war between Israel and Hamas. Said he worked with local artists and commissioned the mural. And he said, quote, I basically provided a concept of wanting to showcase the atrocities being committed against Palestinian people. The mural says, the irony of becoming what you once hated, with a swastika inside the Star of David. This woman, I saw her on the news, talked about how she ran up and threw black paint over the mural to deface it. We know that members of the Common Council, decided, initially 14 of them, that they were going to send out a letter, basically saying, yep, while you, paraphrasing, you got First Amendment rights in this country, but this is something people view as, divisive and hateful, and we're asking you to take it down, okay? At that time, Alderman Westmoreland, didn't initially sign on, and I know he had released something saying, hey, I will issue my own statement. I didn't have any say on this. I didn't help write it. I don't need nobody basically thinking for me. I can issue my own statement. And subsequently, he issued something saying, these symbols are divisive, and we need to be conscientious of that. Paraphrasing, but basically is what it comes down to. So a number of people say, hey, what do you think about this whole thing? So I have to preface it all by, first of all, saying, again, I know this brother. I know him personally. I haven't seen him, I don't think this year, but I see him periodically. Hug him when I see him, hug his wife when I see him. I'm a friend. So I have to always preface my comment by saying, I'm a friend of this man's. Going back to college, I'm a friend. So with that being said, I understand the reaction, the visceral reaction that seeing a swastika evokes. I get it. I do. But I also understand, being on the Palestinian side of this conversation, that there is something visceral about 40,000 people being dead, and that people acting like that this is okay, or that the condemnation of it is not as strong. Like the condemnation and the public outcry is stronger over the swastika being displayed than it is of the loss of 40,000 Palestinians by some of the people in our own community. So when he says, I look at the mural, I understand what this evokes. Now you know how the hell I feel. I get it. I get it. Would I have done it? I don't know. And I'm going to tell you honestly, I don't know, because if 40,000 black folks get killed, I might do a lot of stuff. See, it's easy to talk when it's not your damn people. It's easy to have an opinion and be pissed off, but when 40,000 black folks would be slaughtered, I'm not going to tell you what I wouldn't say or what I wouldn't do to bring attention to our situation. When Colin Kaepernick takes a knee and ultimately realizes that this thing is going to cost me my professional career if I don't stop, and he does not get up, was I willing to give up everything I've worked for my entire life? In some cases for some ungrateful Negroes who don't even appreciate what people was trying to do. But that's another conversation for another day. But people make the decision to go ahead and stay on that course. I'm not going to ever tell you what I wouldn't do if 40,000 black folks was killed and it didn't seem like anybody was doing anything to stop it. I'm not going to tell you that. I'm not going to tell you that. So I got to let Hassan make the decisions that Hassan needs to make for him and his community. The same way I'm going to tell you, I'm going to make the decisions I need to make for mine. Now, that's not the popular answer. It's not definitive. For people like, no, Michelle, you need to blast him. I'm not doing that. And if it was 40,000, of any other group, there would be people that would be lining up to say, somebody said, Michelle, it's way more than that. They haven't counted those caught under the rubble. It's more of 100,000. Okay. So yeah, because that's one of the things I've said too, is that number has stayed stagnant at 40,000. I know more people have died since we hit the 40,000 mark. I know that. But I'm just telling people right now, and in relationship to the Common Council and their need to weigh in, this goes back to a point that I think it was JT or somebody was trying to make. It's amazing to me when people decide they want to weigh in. Because whenever it's somebody else mess, some white people stuff, some Jewish people stuff, everybody got something to say. When it be black people stuff and racism, you don't hear a whole bunch. You can get a bunch of damn crickets. When the Molson Coors shooting happened, and you got Morales running to the mic within an hour or two of the shooting, talking about this one connected to race, and you got the black members of the Common Council breaking their neck talking about Milwaukee Strong and selling T-shirts and carrying on, and you potentially was selling and raising money for family members of some racist bullies. Y'all didn't never have nothing to say about what happened to this black man that drove him to that point. You ain't never see, where was that press release at? So we're going to take our time and hope the authorities fully investigate to make sure that this black man was not experiencing racism on his job. And when it surfaced that there was a hangman's noose in his locker, I didn't see the press release from 14, 15 Common Council members. You Negroes down there kill me when y'all want to weigh in on something. That's my issue. That's where I get frustrated. And I'm not saying that you don't care. And I'm not saying that you don't talk about it. And I'm not saying that you don't issue, resolutions and policy. I'm not saying none of that. But what I am saying is that when we show up strong on paper, I pay attention to the issues that all of a sudden y'all can find y'all voice on. And everybody can pen a letter to. That brother at Molson Coors was left hanging in the wind by you very Negroes signing on to a letter about what's on that mural. He was left hanging in the wind. We still don't know to this day what happened over there. But we busy raising money for the white families and the Hispanic families of the victims, but we don't know to this day if in fact those people were racially bullying that man. We do not know. Wasn't nobody worried about his family and what potentially he had gone through. That's all I'm saying. When one black woman, when a one alder woman gets one committee assignment, where the hell is the letter from all you common council members about your colleague getting one damn committee assignment and somebody brand new walk in off the street and can get 5? Where that letter at? Bros on the common council who got something to say about the Jewish people. Where's the letter in support of the sisters? Where's that letter? I could do this all day. That's the thing that was ruffling my feathers when I heard about it, because people kill me in what they want to get behind and what they got to issue a statement on. And we can get every signature on the paper. Where the hell is the letter to Perez saying you the hell out of order for giving Andrea Pratt one committee assignment and giving somebody else 5? Where's that letter? And the other brother that was brand new, that took Khalif Rainey's spot, that got 3 or 4. Where is that letter at? See, that's that nonsense that get on my nerves. We pick and choose what we want to say something about. We know what Jewish money look like in this town. We know what Jewish business and influence is like in this town. We know who Jewish players are in this town. And I'm not mad at Jewish people. Leverage your power for everything it's worth and get what you need for your community. I ain't hating on you for that. But what I do hate on is black people who don't do the same thing. That I hate on. We can't leverage our power in the NFL. We can't leverage our power in none of these situations in which we get messed over on. They tell y'all, they underpaying brothers who get harmed in the NFL and have career-ending injuries. We got an algorithm that says that white men are going to be more successful and make more money than black men. So we either don't have to pay black men the same money as their counterpart, or we can pay them significantly less. I'm sorry. Did nobody black get offended by that? Not offended enough to not stop watching. This boy can lose his whole career because he's trying to call attention to officer-involved deaths of unarmed black folks, which is still happening to this moment. To this moment. But, we're going to get Jay-Z a few dollars and shake, have folks shake their behind and y'all will be all right. Even only to learn that the damn Super Bowl show was intended to go after In Living Color and the black folks over there who came up with a way to steal the audience, to shift the audience to the other station. So they was like, oh, okay, Keenan, y'all cute? Yeah, we got something for you. We're going to throw all the weight of our money around and give Negroes Michael Jackson, and we will forever shut y'all out. I'm just saying, y'all, there are things that we can do to help ourselves as a community, but we are not willing to sacrifice to do it. You don't think Hassan knew that when he saw what the artist decided to do with that mural, what that was going to evoke? The attacks and the little white woman. Oh, yeah, I vandalized it. I felt good about it. Well, what else have you vandalized, white lady? What else have you vandalized? Because that wasn't the first crazy thing that then happened in this city, in this country, in this town. So what else did you vandalize? That white woman over in Glendale spitting that black boy's face. Where is all of the 14 signatures of letter of support for that? Nasty wench, she spit in that child's face. It's amazing to me what we raise our voice on. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Is it me, Michelle?
Yes, it is.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Listen, I agree with you. When I saw that they had signed a letter about a poster, that was upsetting to me. But y'all not doing no letters about any of the crime or the record, nothing that is impacting the community itself. Because all that is something saying, hey, we don't want the Palestinians being murdered for no reason. And we can get y'all to sign that, but we can't get y'all to do nothing else in the city. I agree with you on that one. That one was out of order. And the lady that said she did it, I hope they prosecute her and or sue her for vandalizing his property. But nobody's even said she was arrested or anything.
Right. And she should be. And she should be.
And she should be.
Because
she should be.
You
now,
don't get
what
to do
I want to know is, how would y'all feel if they had done that to the picture of the girl from Louisville that was murdered?
Breonna Taylor, right.
Yeah, Breonna Taylor's poster. What about that? Would y'all have been okay with them signing a letter saying, oh, don't do that? Or would y'all be upset about that? Just like the Palestinian people are upset about y'all tearing up that mural. You got to make it fair for everybody.
All right. Thank you, caller. I appreciate the call. Got another caller on the line. Mm-hmm. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Strange.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes, I'm here.
I have to agree with everything you said. I thought that was strange for them to get that far involved in that situation. And then at West Morgan, you drove from 89th and Locust to East Locust. I'm sure you saw some things leaving your area, driving through the other areas that could have the reckless driving, the litters, just the despair that should have been more on your agenda. It's amazing how they run to certain things, like you said, and they don't. I had a tenant last week breaking our windows. I go over there. This dude is having a serious mental breakdown. I call the police. I said, well, this guy needs help. I really didn't want to call the police, but I talked to a mental health person at the COG, not at the COG Center, at Outreach, because the lady at the COG Center was extremely rude. And she said that get the police there. They have to do an Article 15 on this guy. It took 4.5 hours. My wife drove. We called the police. My wife drove from 19th and Capitol to 5th District. And when she walked in the door, the lady answered the phone. Was on the phone 46 minutes on hold. We got a lot of other stuff that's going on. And to me, they got too deep into that, all these letters and all that. But they run when certain things happen, like you said, and other things they just don't give a damn about. We have children being shot, ran over, and you don't see them run like that. It's just sad. This whole city just needs a cleaning from the top elected official down. Thanks a lot.
All right. Thank you, bruh. And, and again, I'm going to be clear and I'm going to try to be fair as I can. I see work that some of these elected officials at the Common Council do. I know that there are people that show up every day because they care about what's going on in their community. I believe that many of them ran because they care about what's going on in their community. I do. I believe that. I've seen files or resolutions that they've introduced to address some of the very things that we are talking about. But I also know what it looks like when they show up in full force and when they all are willing to basically put their name on a paper talking about they don't like this or they don't like that. And I'm saying, somebody hit me up and they said cherry pick. They are very selective when they open their mouth. There's also Jewish member of the Common Council, Alderman Brostoff. So I understand. And I even understand, people, again, not liking the imagery. I appreciate it. I do. But this kind of thing happens all the time. And I don't mean racist imagery or divisive imagery, but things that occur. Like I said, where was the letter to be outraged about a Black woman on the Common Council who had more seniority than newly elected members only getting one committee assignment? And then, for Perez to be able to say, well, I offered her one, but she didn't take it. That still don't equal 5 or 4. And then everybody just have to swallow hard and move on. See, that's the kind of stuff that irks my soul. When you need to say some stuff, you say nothing. All of them brothers were silent because I had to look out for me. At the end, and I'm not talking about the Malay thing. I'm talking about your colleagues getting one committee assignment. Where was your letter at? Where was the letter? I didn't see it. Did y'all see the letter? That in a damn near majority minority city, a black common council member who has more seniority than newly elected people can get one committee and don't nobody have nothing to say. And then Perez, we'll come back and we'll revisit it. No, revisit it right now. Where was that letter at? See, that's the thing that just irks me. There was no letter for Alderwoman Pratt. There was no letter to say, y'all, I Perez you the hell out of order. There was no letter for that. Black folks get messed over. I don't see the letters. Oh, because some of y'all busy messing over the black folks. But that's another day, another story, another time. But when it comes to the Jewish community, everybody can get on the same page. Everybody got something to say. Y'all be killing me, man. Y'all kill me. Y'all kill me. And for people who didn't think that the community was watching, paying attention, and had an opinion, they do. Because people do not agree with the amount of death and loss of innocent life in this conflict. People don't agree. Overwhelmingly, black folks don't agree with all them folks being killed like that. Overwhelmingly, many of us don't fully grasp and understand the situation, but a lot of people believe in a two-state solution. And that these folks need to be entitled to live like everybody else and not have a damn overseer. And you can't keep using the threat of Hamas for recklessly killing all these people. So before everybody starts screaming, including them black folks at the Common Council, that he was out of order, tell me what the hell you would do if 40,000 innocent black people got killed. Tell me what you would be willing to do and say to raise attention and call, into question what was happening and do it in a way that was in your face, confrontational. Tell me what you would do. I gotta go to break. I'll be right back. All right, folks, welcome back to the show. So as we gear up from the call, I'm expecting Mayor Cavalier Johnson to check in this morning because as I as I talked about the assassination attempt on Donald Trump, one of the things that, I have I said during that moment is that we got to stay focused. You got to stay on policy. You got to stay on message. If Donald Trump did that, he might actually be in a better position. You veer off and start talking about, Haitians are eating animals and talking about an immigration system in Springfield, Ohio, that is a completely legal immigration program that they have. Those Haitians that are in Ohio are there legally, not illegally. They're there legally through a special program that they have set up. And, now the schools are getting death threats. The city hall being, bomb threats for the children in the school. Like people are listening to this nonsense, taking it to heart, and then going out and trying to act on it. It's dangerous, dangerous rhetoric. And we got to be willing to understand and appreciate that. That is why it is important not to do all of this name calling, not to do, the cultural crap that Trump has so easily, fallen into. And at times, Kamala and her team have responded to. We've got to talk about policy. We've got to stay focused on policy. One of the things that came up was, that stood out for me in that debate was when Donald Trump was asked about the efforts of Republicans to repeal the Affordable Care Act. Done repeatedly. And remember when he was in office, next Tuesday, it's going to be a beautiful plan. A wonderful plan, a miraculous plan. Everybody's going to love it. Everybody's going to be happy next Tuesday. He said it for 4 years. Next Tuesday. Tuesday, we should have a plan. In a few weeks, we'll have a plan. To this moment, when he is asked on that debate stage, do you have a plan? Dude said, basically, paraphrasing, I got concepts. I got ideas. From the time you were in office, 2016 to 2020, 4 years. 4 years that Biden has been in. That's 8 years. In 8 years, you don't have a plan. But you want the American people to return you to office, and you still don't have a plan for how people get basic health care in this country. What part of that sounds crazy? If you talked about policy and not nonsense about dogs and cats, but see, that's what people respond to. Foolishness. Because if you didn't respond to it, he wouldn't talk about it. He'd have to talk about what people want to hear about. If he stood up on the stage and said, yeah, the Haitians, he would never say Haitians. The immigrants are eating dogs and cats. And everybody, But if people booed that and said, please talk about policy. Please talk about policy other than this stupid stuff, then he'd have to stop. But people have figured out, like with Super Bowl and the halftime show, all you got to do is entertain people. That's all you got to do is entertain people. So I appreciated it when Kamala Harris talked about the work that's been done to, number one, strengthen the Affordable Care Act and to protect it from ongoing attacks from Republicans in Congress. I appreciated that work. We got Mayor Johnson. Mayor Johnson, are you there?
I am, yes.
Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. Doing well. How are you doing, Michelle?
I am hanging in there, hanging in there. I am so glad you were able to join us this morning. I'm on a bit of a rant in relationship to the fact that we have got to keep our eye on the prize with this election and talk about the issues that are important, particularly to this community. And you were someone that people were like, you could have a conversation about the Affordable Care Act, health care with Mayor Johnson. So coming out of the debate, I talked about the fact that when asked about his plan, Donald Trump still 8 years later doesn't have a plan. Harris put forth ideas. Can you speak to any of that for just a minute?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm actually happy that you were, having the rant that you were discussing, because this is really important, folks. Like, there's a lot of momentum and a lot of celebration going on behalf of the vice president. However, let's not forget the fact that Donald Trump did win the election in 2016 against probably the most qualified person ever to run for president. So absolutely under no situation at all should we be taking our eye off the ball in this election right now. But you're right. After more than 8 years and 50 plus votes trying to overturn the Affordable Care Act, Donald Trump says that he's only got concepts of a plan for healthcare. This is exactly what Democrats are talking about. It's exactly what the vice president's been talking about when we say that Donald Trump doesn't really care about the American people, that he's only in it for himself. I mean, think about this. The Affordable Care Act is providing healthcare coverage for millions and millions of people. And after all these votes to overturn it, to rip it away, he didn't even have a plan to move forward on that. That would strip away healthcare from millions of Americans, including millions of Black Americans. It would remove protections for folks who have pre-existing conditions. It would take away, some of the things that folks have been able to secure for themselves right now with lower healthcare costs and the like. So that's dangerous. And the vice president, on the other hand, has shown that she has got a way forward. She's been fighting for that. That's why seniors in our country now have insulin capped at $35 a month. That's why when the Biden-Harris administration were fighting with the inhaler makers for folks who have asthma to get those capped at $35 a month. And 3 of the 4 manufacturers have those prices capped at $35 a month now. So that's just a snippet, just a small snippet of the way that the vice president has been fighting for healthcare in this country versus what Donald Trump has been talking about, which is ripping healthcare away from millions of Americans.
And when you think about it and you drill it down a little bit more specifically for, the a lot of the demographic that listens to this particular station, Black enrollment in healthcare coverage has increased by 49%. Leading to significant savings of hundreds of millions of dollars for folks in our community, in the Black community across this country. And that's the thing I think that's alarming to me, because when we think about, you mentioned protections for pre-existing conditions, the number of people that step up to the door, I think about a Keon, who may have suffered with diabetes or had healthcare challenges. I start a new job. I need to get new insurance with that new employer, and that employer tell me we won't cover you because of existing conditions. Like, it was so easy, to deny people previously, children being able to stay, or young people, adults being able to stay on their parents' insurance until they're 26. Basic health care coverage. I think Obama, it was like this, almost like 10 commandments of things that you had to make available to every single person who had this coverage by way of preventative maintenance in relationship to health care. How we could conceivably talk about going back to a point of uncertainty is just beyond me. And then you think about COVID and the number of people who hopefully had insurance during that period of time that otherwise may have been in trouble had they had nothing.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. And I feel you exactly what you're saying. Like, how could we be thinking about going back? We know what a Donald Trump presidency has in store for us. And this time, it would be even worse. I mean, the first presidency was a dumpster fire. This one will be far worse because he's already got this plan, Project 2025, that's laid out that would strip away not just healthcare rights, but reproductive rights, for individuals. It would basically make him a dictator. And the plan has already been written for it. the Supreme Court has said, hey, it's okay. And he, of course, would run away with the opportunity to do that. So we've got to work to make sure that this doesn't happen, not just for the health of individuals in our community and our country, but for the health of our entire democratic system, because Donald Trump would rip it all away.
Do we ever have numbers available to us that help us? And this will be my last question, because I know, you were calling in, and I appreciate your time this morning. But just if we look here in the city of Milwaukee, when we talk about uninsured versus insured or healthcare challenges facing our specific community, is there anything that you can do to help us shed some light on just understanding what healthcare is like for folks that are residents of the city of Milwaukee?
Yeah, we can work to make a connection with the health department. They may have more information about that. But I guess as a prelude to that, let's look back at when Barack Obama was in office, and he and his administration put forward a challenge to communities to register more people for the health care that they need via Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act. And the fact of the matter is that of all the communities, all the cities in the country, Milwaukee is the one that won. We registered the most people. You can't register more people for healthcare if people don't have healthcare. You see what I'm saying? So there is a need out there in Milwaukee. And if Donald Trump were to be in office, he would strip that away from all those people. He would strip the affordable health care away from folks in our community. And we just cannot have that. That's why the vice president continually says we are not going back.
Well, I thank you so much for taking a moment just to help make this conversation, at least on healthcare, a little bit more relevant to the community, helping people like break this down just a bit further, a little bit more in the weeds when we start talking about the numbers, because I think they said now like 1 in 7 Americans actually has some form of the Affordable Care Act. 1 in 7. And so, we're talking about our community. Those numbers are significant numbers if you look at a city the size of Milwaukee. So, Mayor Johnson, I appreciate it. Appreciate the work that's being done to educate the community. And the next area of discussion, I'll think of it and I'll call you and see if we can get you in to help us connect those dots on a local level for us here in the city.
Happy to do it, Michelle, anytime.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate it, Mayor Johnson.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, family. So I just want to, mention that. And then when I come back, I did hear from the folks over at that were connected to the event for I'm not coming back. So let me say this now then. When I talked about the event that was going to happen, that was featuring Jesse Jackson, Judge Mathis. So I got the wrong information. I got the wrong flyer. That event has not happened. They postponed it. And it is scheduled for this Sunday at 11 a.m. at Holy Redeemer. So Reverend Jesse Jackson, Judge Mathis are going to be in town, and they will be talking about use your vote, vote voice, a rally and information session, 11 a.m. at Holy Redeemer. So I want to make sure that people understand this is a vote rally, trying to encourage people to show up, be engaged, get registered if you're not, do whatever you have to do to be counted this time. We have to have every voice, every vote at the table. So I just want to thank Antoine Reesby over at Holy Redeemer for making sure I had the correct information. So that event did not happen. It was postponed. It's happening this Sunday at 11 a.m. All right, family. Somebody said, who is Holy Redeemer supporting? It's not about who they're supporting. They're not supporting anyone. They're trying to make sure that people are engaged. That's what I said. Faith organizations can play a role. It's a neutral role. I'm making sure that people are engaged. That's it. All right, family. Woo, this was a show. I will talk to y'all tomorrow. Debo, Carvey, appreciate you, bros. Family, talk to y'all tomorrow. Peace.